Narcissists don't care about their kids. Now, I know a lot of people are like, but wait a second, I know that you have a kid. What about you? Okay, when I'm talking about narcissists not caring about their kids, I'm also talking about narcissists that aren't aware of what they're doing. And if they are aware, they still don't care because they're not having change behavior. If you're involved with someone today and you see that toxicity in your life and in that relationship, and they don't have change behavior, you're still dealing with a toxic person. So when we dive into this, and we're going to talk through some aspects of why and what's actually going on in the narcissistic mind of understanding that, hey, they don't actually care for their kids. I want you to understand that this is the standpoint we're coming from. Of people that do not care because they're not demonstrating change, that are not demonstrating how they're actually learning, growing, healing, developing into a whole nother person. They're just doing the same exact thing over and over and over. And by their actions, they're demonstrating that they don't care for their kids. If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel to promote awareness, growth, healing, and change. We do it on all the different platforms. So if you haven't had a chance to be able to follow us, check out TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. Look us up under Raw Motivations. Maybe you're driving and you want to listen on the podcast, go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, anything like that. Look us up under Raw Motivations there as well. Would love to have you join a community to help promote your healing. You need to have people around you to support you and to lift you up. I think community is super essential. And we've been working on building a community inside the Narc App. If you don't know what that is, go to narcapp.com. What it stands for is Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community. Narc App, narcapp.com. And if you go there, you can actually see some of the stuff that is offered inside the Narc App, where it's courses, talking about boundaries, talking about healthy dating, talking about guilt, talking about gaslighting, talking about different aspects of narcissism that you can start to learn, identify, and ultimately protect yourself from. There's a part where you can engage with the community to be able to ask for advice, to be able to ask for support, to be able to ask questions, to see other scenarios and other situations that people have had to go through and how they handled those. You're also able to log in to track your no contact, to keep account of, hey, I'm still no contact. I'm accountable to this every single day to make sure that I'm staying no contact. I'm journaling inside the app. This is the truth that I'm learning today. This is what I'm focused on. You can log in every Monday night. We have lives where it ends up being sometimes even like coaching calls, depending on the questions and the problems that people bring forth that we're able to work through in a closed environment so that people aren't seeing this out in the public. That's not broadcasted everywhere. It's just inside the app. We also have monthly coaching, where it's group coaching calls where you come together, you meet other survivors on Zoom from across the globe, and you're actually able to pair up with different people to be able to interact, to be able to see what's going on, and hear from coaches that are trying to help you develop, grow, and change farther than just the pain and working through that. But then what's next? How do we continue moving forward? How do we continue developing? If you want to talk to me one-on-one, would love to talk to you. Go to rawmotivations.com. You can get a glimpse at our new podcast that came out, Trauma, Drama, and Life, by myself and my wife, Kayla Taylor. Super excited about that. Anyways, let's dive in. Narcissists don't care about kids. The narcissists don't care about the kids that you have. The narcissists don't care about the kids they've had with you. The narcissists as a whole just don't care about kids. I think a lot of times you see people where they look at narcissists and they look at it as a whole and they're like, well, they should care about the kids because I care about the kids. And you're already inferring that like their worldview is the same as yours, and it's not. How a narcissist treats you is ultimately how they're going to treat the kids eventually. They'll get to the place where they'll gaslight, they'll manipulate, they'll devalue, and they'll discard every single time. Because it's no different than another person. The narcissist doesn't view them as any more special or any different than anyone else out there. They're just another person that the narcissist can use for themselves. Now, when we talk about kids, I think a big part about it needs to be identified that narcissists a lot of times will use kids for their own image, to how they're actually portraying and putting up the mask and how they look to everybody else. Now, when we're talking about that, they'll focus on their image to the kids in a certain period of time. A lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times, you'll have a narcissist from with the kid's life from 0 to 3. Where they won't have any interaction with them. Maybe they've completely ghosted. Maybe they're working nonstop. Maybe they just don't engage. They have almost little to no engagement and interaction with them. Okay, not all the time, but a lot of times, okay? Because at this point, they're so young, there's not really much validation they can get from the kid. There's not much they can actually receive. They're just a bundle of joy sitting there, but there's nothing that actually helps the mask, helps the narcissist feel better about themselves. But then you have a lot of times from ages 3, 4, all the way up to like 9 to 11, somewhere around there. That's when you have the awesome people come in. You've got the Disneyland dad. You've got the awesome mom. You've got the fantastic parent that all of a sudden shows up and is like, I haven't been here for you, but I'm an amazing person. And they start showering with gifts. They start love bombing. They start showing all this attention on the kid. And at that time, they're like, oh my gosh, let me take this in because I want it so much because I've never had it. And as a result, they start to manipulate the kids. And they start to get to the place of like, see, I am a great parent because, this 5-year-old just told me I am a great parent. And they use that to their advantage, and they use that to pump up themselves and their mask. Oftentimes we see 11, 12, 13-year-olds, at that point, they start to realize what's actually going on. They start to realize the lies, the manipulation. They start to see it firsthand and understand the difference of what's going on. And that's when it becomes the discard dad or the manipulative mom. Like people that are actually, okay, I don't really want to hang around the kids because they're calling me out. I don't really want to hang around the kids because they're not actually helping me do the things that I want to do. They're not actually helping improve my mask or my image to the people around me. They're not filling or validating me because of what they're doing or what they're saying. A lot of times they'll care about the kids in that middle section because they get supply from them. Because they get attention from them and they think, wow, this is great because they think I'm amazing. Nobody else thinks I'm amazing. My wife doesn't think I'm amazing. My husband doesn't think I'm amazing. Everybody around me doesn't think I'm amazing, but the kids think I'm amazing. Therefore, I'm amazing. The kids during that time are also really impressionable. It's a great way to be able to take a kid and be able to turn them against the other person in the relationship. To be able to mold them up, to fashion them of like, this is how I want you to be for me and not for anybody else. A lot of times this is where you develop some codependency, some dependency on the narcissist because the kids are all about keeping that mask. That's what the narcissist wants them to do. The goal with having kids is that they support the mask, that they appear a certain way to their friends and their families. Even to the fact of maybe still being together, but they show up with the kids in a single mode, being like, yeah, I'm a single parent. Like, look how awesome I am with my kids. What you'll actually see on the other side is a lot of confusion. What you will see is you'll see the narcissist begging for time for the kids. I want to spend time with the kids. How dare you keep them away? You're alienating me from the kids. All this kind of stuff. They'll be begging time for the kids, but then they'll never spend time with them. Be like, well, if you wanted to spend all this time with the kids, why didn't you ever show up? Why are you not showing up now? You'll see them want to spend time with the kids, and they'll get the kids, and then they'll drop them off with the grandparents. Or they'll drop them off with a babysitter or something like that. And then they'll go do what they want to do. They just want to have the kids a lot of times as leverage and as an image. If I can have the kids and I can look good in front of everybody else, that I take care of my kids and I see them 5 days a week, regardless of the fact that I only interact with them 2 hours a day because I put them in daycare or I put them someplace else, but I want to spend time with the kids. A lot of times you'll see narcissists that'll do that. Maybe you already have some type of parenting agreement or a legal agreement with the kids and you notice they're not showing up. They're missing time with their kids. They keep saying, I want to spend time with the kids, but then they don't show up or they show up hours late. Or you have some of the very insidious manipulation with triangulation where they show up and they only want to spend time with one kid. Or they only take one kid someplace, which is absolutely destructive to the rest of the family. You see, when it boils down to it, a lot of narcissists think that kids are an inconvenience because they take up too much time, too much money, too much energy. They sideline the narcissist from what they want to do. They want to live their life a certain way. They want to be fulfilled and validated in a certain way, and kids get in the way of that. And oftentimes when they get in the way of that, that's when the narcissist gets frustrated, gets mad, gets angry because they're being inconvenienced by someone else. This is why as the kids keep growing up and as the narcissist keeps getting older, you get to the place where a lot of times the kids start alienating themselves from the parent because of the fact that they realize this person actually doesn't care about me. They're just saying it. Maybe you're going through some of this right now and you're going through a divorce. and you're going through trying to figure out the whole custody battle and all that stuff that goes on. We work with people each day to be able to help them actually get through that. What I normally tell people is, like, if you're going through divorce and a custody battle, the two biggest levers that you have is image and money. That's the only thing that they really care about in the divorce with kids. Is, will getting divorced and losing my kids make me look bad to others? Okay, well, let me fight for the kids. Even if I don't want them, let me fight for the kids. Then I don't look like a bad parent. Then I don't look like an unloving father or an unloving mom. The other thing that comes in is a lot of times it'll be that mindset and the thought process of, like, how much is this going to cost me? Whether it's divorce or whether it's the custody. Because a lot of times a narcissist won't want to spend time with the kids, but they'll fight for the kids because it means they're going to have to pay less. It means they're going to have to pay less in child support or spousal support or whatever it might be. They're like, let me spend more time with the kids. Let's do 50-50. That way you don't have them 100% and I have to pay you so much more. A lot of it just comes down to, frankly, just money. And the thing, you'll see the narcissist time and time again try to fight for the kids, not because they care, but because they want to protect their image and they want to protect their money. And that is more important than another person. That is more important than you were. That is more important than your kids are. But a lot of times people don't understand that narcissists seem to look like they're loving. They seem to come across like they care about the kids. But at the end of the day, their actions consistently don't demonstrate that they actually love the kids.